Recently, basic necessities prices went up, not only rise. LPG price also increased significantly that the society had to find it hard on the retailers. Some controversy lingering the scarcity of LPG are heard due to the distribution channels and speculators in the market. Clearly, the government needs to improve the supervision of LPG distribution in Indonesia. Otherwise, this occurrence will again happen. So, how should the government improve LPG supply and demand management? Before discussing more about it, let's first take a look at this one.
3-kilogram LPG canister is still hard to find in some areas in Depok of West Java because of the supply shortage. Even if it's available, the price of the subsidized LPG has already gone up by 5% in the last 1 month. That is 49% higher than the benchmark price set by Pertamina to the agents. Currently, the price of the subsidized LPG reaches 19,000 rupiah to 20,000 rupiah per tub. On the other hand, the price set by Pertamina to the agents is only 12,750 rupiah per tub. Based on information got from the agent, the green tub LPG's price increase has nothing to do with the shortage of the supplies. The agent herself is lucky because she has sufficient stock of 3-kilogram LPG in her warehouse, even the stock already built up, so she doesn't need to obtain more. Marketing Director of PT Pertamina previously stated that there was no increase in the price of 3-kilogram LPG set by Pertamina to the agents. Pertamina only regulated the price for the agents level. Meanwhile, the price of 3-kilogram LPG in the level of retailer is set by regional government to set the maximum retail price. After the commotion, there is an effort in order to stabilize the price. State Oil and Gas Company, Pertamina Saya IT has increased the supply of 3-kilogram LPG canister, the western area of Java, from 25 February to 27 February and a bit to secure availability and stabilize the price of the commodity. Therefore, how is the current circulation of the subsidized LPG in the market, and how do the authorities stabilize the price? A discussion about supply and demand of LPG will be on Revenews International.
So to discuss more about LPG supply and demand, we have Mr. Achmad Widjaya. He's the Executive Committee Chairman of Indonesian Gas Society. So good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you?
Everything okay?
Everything is okay. It's good to see you again on Revenews International. All right, so it's not just about price. It's now LPG. The price went up significantly. All right, so and then how's the current performance of LPG supply and demand management in Indonesia?
First of all, I think the supply-demand process will never achieve properly because as we know that the 3 kg LPG is basically a package of the subsidies from the government. So we are seeing a lot of subsidy which is uncontrollable by the government side. And on the other hand, government also not properly make the whole logistic from the Aceh up to Papua. So there is no one price, one strategy, one policy. And on the other hand, the importation, I think still a lot of shortage. Because besides we have a commercial area, which is we are selling the 20 kg to 25 kg, plus we have a 5 kg, which is unsubsidized situation. And the subsidized 3 kg is been utilizing not by a proper system, which is delivered to each of the area where they
it is poorly targeted.
Yes. So the target which is they are given is not significantly pointing out the area where they needs. So it's more to the commercialized situation. So as of today, we are seeing a lot of problem in the market is people is shifting from high potentially commercial of the LPG to change into the 3 kg. And most of those who is capable to buy the commercial price, they also try to enjoying the whole subsidized of the 3 kg as well. So I think government, if have to be doing all this subsidized situation, they have to have a loophole of closing distribution by appointing a certain area where the subsidy has to be delivered.
Actually, what is the problem with the distribution? Is it because of the logistics cost or maybe any other problems that the government has to face?
Indonesia is very big, and from Aceh to Papua, we know the logistic situation is significantly problem, and it is not just about the LPG. All other material, all other food and beverage, all other industry also having the same problem because of the logistic situation. And today we see that LPG has been appointed 5 regions, which is in a big city to distribute this subsidized situation. But the appointing agent, appointing region, which is they are receiving the subsidies, has to be controlled by the certain authority, especially has to be guided by the police as well, to manage whether it is correct distribution straight to the end user or straight to the registration of the subsidies. This is where the system has been controlled by the payment through the distributors. And the distributor has been controlled by each of the contract of working session between the distributors and the Pertamina. But the situation is the distribution is not really been controlled by some certain party which is knowing very well of the distribution.
Which is the government?
Yes, that's the government.
But then how, by far, how do you see the supervision by the government? Do they adequately supervise the distribution of the subsidized LPG?
Currently, as we are knowing, the government distributing through main distributors. And then distributors will go to the sub-distributors. The sub-distributor will be entertaining all the end user. And this is a big circle of the things that government need to change and control the situation of the subsidy by not contaminate about the commercial LPG and the subsidized LPG. And today, they're going to the same sources of the distribution. That's number one. Number two, I think government has been pointed some certain area where the regional distributor will be react more specific to the specific, which is through government, not through the area where the commercial distribution did the whole situation. That's what has been mixed up between those two areas, between the subsidized and the commercial.
Okay, and then I'm wondering if it's still viable for Indonesia to still use LPG instead of natural gas. So what do you think? Is it still viable for Indonesia to use LPG instead?
Over the past 20 years, I think when the colony time, in the central part of Jakarta, it has been laid down the pipeline situation of the supply natural gas. But due to the expansions of modernization of gas and then a lot of thing change, which is this infrastructure is not really been maintained by the government. So over the past 5 years back, I think the government also have the program to load across city gas through 2 main state-owned company, which is Pertamina and PGN. These 2 company actually has to be putting a total infrastructure package to lay down all this pipeline into the area where the natural gas being supplied. Because natural gas is very simple, and natural gas is just like supply water with a meter. Control is much more easy, and we can take away the LPG.
It's much cheaper.
Much cheaper and much controllable through the pipeline, one sources, one policy.
Okay, so we'll discuss more about the distribution of LPG, but in the later segment. We'll be right back with more discussion. Stay tuned on Revenews International.